Hi, beautiful people of God. Today I wanted to talk the story of Moses. So, when Joseph was in the kingdom, it had passed many years, so the new pharaohs came, so they didn't know what Joseph did for the Israelites. So then the pharaoh, seeing that the Israelites were getting so strong and that the women would have strong babies and a lot of babies, so he started enslaving them, and one of them was Moses' mother. So when Moses was born, Pharaoh had made a law that he was going to kill all the firstborns that were to be born from the Israelites because he didn't want them to keep getting multiplying, getting stronger. So this mom was pregnant and had him. So she put him in a basket and put him in the Nile River, down the river. She let him go. So then Pharaoh's daughter found them, and I believe she couldn't have babies, so she got Moses and kept them and raised them as an Egyptian. So Moses was living with the Pharaoh and the Egyptians, and then one day he seen that one of the Egyptians was mistreating and abusing a Israeli slave. So he got upset, angry, and he hit him and he accidentally killed him. And so he didn't want to find out, but they found out, so he ran away because he was scared. They were looking for him, and so he went to the mountains, to wilderness and mountains, and he found some women there that helped him. So the women took him. Actually, he helped the women, and they took him to their father, and they gave him hospitality there and let him stay with them. So that's when God started speaking to Moses, and that's when he started hearing the voice of God. And he God told him that he wanted him to free his people, And Moses didn't know what to do because he said he didn't know how to talk, But he said he was gonna give him a brother to help him, and so he went to Egypt, and he talked to Pharaoh, and he told him to let his people go. And the Pharaoh was stubborn, and his heart was hardened, so he didn't listen. And Joseph went with the staff, and he threw it in the floor, and it turned into a snake. And then his magicians did the same thing, and it turned to a snake. So he didn't believe that the power of God was stronger than his. And so then he refused to let the people go. So then God sent 10 plagues to Pharaoh, so he would let his people go. And I wrote them down because there's a lot of them. But one of them was the he turned the river into the blood. Then another one, he did frogs and lice. He gave the Egyptians lice. Then flies. Another one was flies and ulcers, and hail. He made it rain hail and crabs. 3 days of darkness, and the last one was the firstborn. He was gonna kill all the firstborns from all the Egyptians and animals and everything. But then he told the angel of the Lord to put blood on the top of the door frame of the door, and whoever had that mark of the blood, the angel of death was gonna pass by them, and they weren't gonna kill none of their Israelites firstborns. So that's what happened, and so when all the firstborns from the Egyptians started dying, and that's when the Pharaoh decided to let the people go. And so they were walking towards the wilderness, and they ran into the Red Sea. So God told Moses to put his staff and part the sea. That's what happened. He parted the sea, and the Israelites started walking through the ocean. And then Pharaoh changed his mind, so he went after them to try to attack them. And And when the Egyptians started crossing the ocean started closing, and the ocean drowned all of them. So then when the Israelites were on the other side, they started complaining because they didn't have any food and water, and they were just complaining and complaining. And so God was listening to all their complaining, and he killed some of them for complaining. I don't know if it was 2,000 or 3,000, I can't remember, but a lot of them. And then he sent them like snakes to, bite them, and they got killed. And so Moses pleaded with God and told him to heal the people because they were dying. So God said, okay, make a snake out of bronze, and whoever looks at it, they're going to get healed. So they got healed. And but then also, since they kept complaining, um, a trip that would have taken 11 days to go, it took 40 years because the people were complaining and just being ungrateful, because they wanted to stay in Egypt because they were saying that there was food there and they had a home and comfort and stuff. But they were ungrateful, so God punished them like that. And he waited 40 years because he wanted that generation to die off, and the new generation was going to go to the promised land. And also, when they were thirsty, God told Moses to talk to the rock to bring water out of the rock. But what he did is I believe he hit it with his staff, and he was angry. So God got upset with them, and he told them that he wasn't going to lead the people to the promised land because he was angry with them. He was just going to see it, but he wasn't going to be able to guide them through it, take them to it and to the promised land. And then so he was old already. He saw the promised land. God told him, "You have to die now." So he died. And but then before that, Joshua was the one that was supposed to lead him to the promised land. I'll tell you the story of Joshua next time. God bless you guys.